Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, My Corporate Lessons. So today we will discuss on how managers actually decide who goes on bench. So that is an interesting topic. So we'll discuss. Many people in IT believe that going on bench is completely random or sometimes political, they think. But over the years, after working on different projects and also observing what happens with some of my colleagues, I realized that bench decisions usually follow certain patterns. Okay, so I'll discuss this one by one. In one of my earlier projects, there was a time when the client suddenly reduced the project budget. Okay, so our team had around 12 people working on that project, but the manager told us that only 8 people would be needed going forward. So naturally, everyone started wondering who will stay and who will go on the bench. So now I will list down couple of reasons from my experience which you will relate to and you need to be aware of. So number one reason is skill relevance. So in that situation, the first thing I noticed was how skills played a role. The project was slowly moving from traditional back-end work to more cloud-based work. Okay, so the employees who already had cloud experiences were kept in the project, and others, even though they were very good developers, were released because their skills were not immediately needed in that project. So at that time, I realized that sometimes it's not about how capable you are, rather, it's about whether your skill matches what the project exactly needs next. Right? Now, reason 2 could be a budget constraints. In another project, one of my colleagues, faced something similar. The client reduced the budget and asked the company to reduce the team size. My colleague had done nothing wrong in the project. His performance was perfectly fine. But because the budget was reduced, the manager had to release a few people. So sometimes bench decisions are simply financial. The manager has to work within the budget the client has provided. Now coming to the reason number 3, that is performance and reliability. In some cases, performance also becomes a factor. I remember a situation where two developers were working on a similar task. One of them consistently delivering a very good work and on the time and solved all the issues independently. On the other hand, the another developer often needed a help and took a little longer to finish the task. When the team size had to be reduced later, the manager naturally preferred the one who used to deliver the work independently and more reliably. Now, the reason 4 is the client preferences. I have also seen situations where the client itself influenced the decision. In one project, a developer had been working closely with the client for months, and the client trusted that person and felt comfortable discussing technical issues directly with them. So, when there was discussion about reducing the team size, the client specifically asked that this person remain in the project no matter what. So that kind of client trust can make a big difference. Okay, now coming to the reason number 5, which is knowledge of critical systems. In some projects, certain employees become the only person who understand a complex part of the system. Managers are usually very careful about releasing those people. I once saw a situation where a developer had very deep knowledge of a particular module, So even though the project was reducing its team, the manager kept that person because replacing that person immediately would have been a very risky to the project, right? And the next one is communication and visibility. One interesting thing I noticed over the time in my corporate journey is that communication also plays a very good role. Employees who regularly explain their progress and challenges during stand-ups call or meetings, so they create a visibility among the team. Managers understand what they are contributing, but if someone stays very silent and their work is not clearly visible, the manager may find it harder to evaluate their impact. So, in those situations, unfortunately, the silent employees sometimes become the easier choices when the team size needs to be shrink. So, be aware of that. And the last reason, the reason number 7, which I can think of, is project phase. So another situation, I also experienced was like when a project moved from a development phase to a maintenance phase. It's a part of SDLC life cycle. So during development, many developers were required, but once the product was delivered, the team only needed a few people just to maintain it. So several developers were released to bench even though they had done their job perfectly. So these are all the 7 reasons I can think of. So you just be mindful of that one. And so now let's talk about the key learning from this experience, from my experiences, what you can learn and what you can keep in mind. So after seeing these situation in different projects, I realized something very important, that is the bench decisions are rarely random. Usually they involve a combination of things like skill relevance, project budget, performance, client comfortness, and the phases of the project, which I talked about earlier. So for employees, the key lesson is that try to keep your skills aligned with what the industry needs, communicate your work clearly, and build trust within the team. Because in many situations, those factors can influence whether you stay in a project or get released to the bench. So that is all for this video. So we will see you in another video. Till then, stay tuned and stay safe. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video to your colleagues and friend circle. Thank you guys.